The story begins in 1990 with an engineer named Warren wandering through a maze-like expanse of yellow rooms and endless corridors. This place is known as the Backrooms, an eerie dimension that serves as the setting for the film. Warren attempts to contact his colleagues outside, pleading for help to escape this terrifying place, but there is no response. Suddenly, a seagull flies into the room. Thinking it might lead to an exit, Warren hurriedly follows it. Upon reaching the hallway, he encounters a chaotic array of strange objects scattered about without rhyme or reason. Before he can make sense of them, a colossal creature slowly emerges. Panicked, Warren flees in the opposite direction. He desperately searches for a way out. Before he can turn back, the terrifying creature is right behind him, lunging to tear him limb from limb amidst his blood-curdling screams. The scene then shifts to the protagonist, Clark, an unemployed architect who now runs a furniture store in the city. Despite trying everything to attract customers, such as dressing up as a ship captain for a commercial, foot traffic to the store continues to dwindle. Beyond the stress of making a living, Clark battles depression, requiring daily visits to Dr. Mary for treatment. He was previously married, but divorced after constant conflicts regarding children. Although much time has passed, the memory still haunts Clark, leaving him unable to shake the lingering psychological trauma. It all began one day while Clark was watching television in his shop and noticed the overhead lights flickering incessantly. He called an electrician the next day, and they discovered strange circuit breakers inside the electrical panel, arranged in no discernible pattern. But the following evening, strange occurrences continued. The TV screen suddenly shifted to a view of a bizarre yellow room. Before he could make sense of it, a distant light began to flicker rapidly. Frustrated, Clark went to flip the breakers off, but nothing happened. It was only when he touched those peculiar breakers that the room's lights instantly cut out. Clark noticed a faint beam of light emanating from a nearby wall. He stepped toward it and touched it. Before him lay a yellow room, with furniture piled haphazardly in the center. Panicked, he scrambled back through the wall and found himself back in his shop. It seemed the two spaces were connected in some mysterious way. Sensing no immediate danger, Clark ventured deeper to explore. The rooms branched out in various directions. After walking a short distance, he came across a sign. Nearby lay the carcass of a seagull, the same one seen at the beginning of the film. Suddenly, a radio broadcast began to play. The voice was a baffling blend of dozens of different languages. Clark followed the sound and discovered it was coming from a sign positioned in the middle of a hallway. Clark went inside and found a bag containing the belongings of an employee named Warren, the unfortunate man from the beginning of the film. He also discovered a strange hole in the wall. Clark crawled through it and emerged into another room. There, he found a few shoes stuck to the floor and a chair with a broken leg. None of it seemed to make any sense. While he stood there in confusion, a noise suddenly rang out from the room he had just left. Startled, Clark scrambled to flee. He crawled back through the hole, and upon spotting the sign he had seen earlier, he was overjoyed. He immediately dashed straight through the wall to return to the store. However, there was one thing he didn't know. His movements inside those rooms had been recorded by a mysterious organization. A few days later, Clark met Mary and told her about the strange rooms he had discovered. He believed the space resembled a human brain, with the objects inside created from distorted memories. After several exploratory trips, Clark had sketched out a fairly extensive map. He was eager to take Mary there to experience it, but she remained skeptical of his claims. Frustrated, Clark left abruptly. He then approached his assistants, Bobby and Kat, intending to take them into the backrooms to film footage as evidence. Initially, they suspected their boss was mentally unstable and merely imagining things. However, they were shocked and disbelieving when they saw him walk straight through a wall in the shop. The two assistants then entered the backrooms as well. Clark led them to a room featuring a vertical shaft that connected to a doorway below. He had spent days exploring the area, and that was the only spot he had yet to access. Bobby was then sent down the shaft. Although Clark felt anxious and tried to dissuade him, the young man was excited to discover what lay beneath. After securely tying a rope around himself, Bobby slowly descended into the shaft. Upon reaching the bottom, he was immediately struck by a foul stench. He saw piles of discarded clothing, including a shirt he had worn just days earlier. Bobby then spotted a passageway leading to an adjacent room, but a grotesque creature suddenly emerged from the gloom. Terrified, he scrambled back up through the shaft. The rope tied around his waist was suddenly yanked downward by an unseen force. Bobby tried to cling to the two people beside him, but he was ultimately dragged straight into the pit. The bed to which the rope was anchored was pulled along with him, dragging Clark and Kat down as well. They saw that Bobby had been hauled away. A long trail of blood smeared the floor. Kat chased after the creature that had taken him. Unable to stop her, Clark was left to find another escape route on his own. After passing through countless rooms filled with hundreds of bizarre objects, he finally arrived at a room that stood out from the rest. In the center stood a Christmas tree adorned with twinkling lights. A man in a wheelchair suddenly appeared before him, accompanied by a red-headed woman with a deformed physique. Terrified, Clark immediately fled the scene. While running, he heard his assistant Kat crying out for help. She was on the other side of a wall, yet they could find no way to reach each other. Clark failed to notice something slowly creeping up behind him. The scene shifts to several days later at the home of Dr. Mary. Clark's mysterious disappearance had left her deeply worried, especially given his recent claim of discovering a unique dimension. She decided to visit Clark's shop, only to find it closed and completely deserted. She went inside to investigate. Descending into the basement, Mary discovered an image of a door drawn on the wall, positioned next to a detailed map of the backrooms that Clark had painstakingly created. The young woman slowly approached and touched the door, instantly stepping into the backrooms. Bewildered to find herself alone, she loudly called out for Clark, hoping he was still alive. After wandering through the maze for a while, she stumbled upon a strange painting on the wall, depicting a captain devouring his tiny victims. Clark suddenly appeared right behind her. It turned out he was not only alive but remarkably calm after everything that had happened. Clark approached Mary, then suddenly lunged forward and strangled her, rendering her instantly unconscious. When she came to, Mary found herself tied to a chair, facing Clark and three other strangers. Clark explained that these creatures were imperfect replicas of people from the outside world, lacking sensation or the ability to speak. They were merely mindless puppets used as a food source. He then opened the refrigerator to reveal the corpse of his assistant. Kat, the unfortunate woman, had not survived. Terrified by the gruesome sight, Mary begged Clark to let her go. He remained indifferent, however. He grabbed a knife, sheared off the red hair of a nearby female replica, and placed it on Mary's head to transform her into the image of his ex-wife. Clark sought to recreate his past family life. He refused to acknowledge his own faults, instead blaming his ex-wife entirely for the collapse of their marriage. Mary, however, immediately retorted that it was Clark's own hot temper and selfishness that had cost him his wife. Her blunt words struck a chord, forcing Clark to confront a harsh truth he had long ignored. He stepped toward Mary, intending to untie her, when the surrounding puppets suddenly panicked. A massive creature, a replica of Clark in his captain persona from the commercial, burst through the doorway. It lifted the man into the air and abruptly mauled him to death right before Mary's eyes. Terrified, the girl hurriedly fled the scene, but the monster immediately gave chase. After a tense game of cat and mouse, Mary stumbled into a bizarre space where thousands of backrooms chambers were stacked atop one another, like an apartment complex. She climbed a staircase leading to a room above, only to realize it was Clark's shop, yet there was absolutely no way out. While she was still disoriented, the monster caught up to her. Mary struck its leg with a piece of wood, sending the creature crashing to the floor. She tried to run but accidentally collided with a sign equipped with a speaker. This triggered an alarm and caused gas canisters to flood the room with fumes. Despite its injury, the monster lunged at her. Mary pulled a rock from her pocket, repeatedly struck the creature on the head, and then scrambled into a nearby crevice to hide. Unable to follow her inside, the monster could only watch helplessly. Passing through the gap, Mary encountered a group of researchers in protective gear. Astonished to see her, they brought her out and conducted a medical examination. Once confirmed to be unharmed, Mary was taken to meet Dr. Phil, the head of the Backrooms research project. It turned out his organization had long since discovered this mysterious realm and had sent numerous teams inside to map and study it. Yet, for all their efforts, they still did not truly understand the nature of the Backrooms or how many levels it contained. All they knew was that the space was constantly replicating objects and people from the real world, and if this process continued unchecked, the boundary between the two realms would eventually vanish completely. Will Dr. Finn's words prove true, or are they merely a hypothesis? That concludes the video. What are your thoughts? Please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future exciting videos. Thank you, and goodbye.